The King's Court is now in session. All right, this is an upper chest day, really to beautify the upper chest, and especially for guys as you get older. You know, it's not a good look when that chest starts to fall. So let's get to it. First things first, we got the Bozu out, and we brought in these cable crunches from on high to low. And if you notice the hips, we keep changing the level of the hips to bring on more of the spine in different regions, also to grip through the glutes. And we're on that Bozu just to relieve any pressures in the quadriceps laborium regions and really just get deeper into the muscle, add some stability throughout the hips. And you'll note after this, we're moving to a more stable surface, which will be coming up here in just a moment. We did 2 sets of all of these cable exercises, so just so you know. All right, so here's the next one. And again, the first exercise we did 2 sets. This one we brought on 2 sets. And here we brought on a more stable surface so I can get deeper into the contractions of everything I found from the Bozu. So we wanted to stabilize a little more so we can increase the engagement, whether you do it yourself mentally or whether you bring on a little more weight in here. I got a mild to, I can't say heavy, but about mid-range weight here. I'm gonna bring on these reps, and again, the key factor is noticing the changing of the hips. There's no 2 reps that are the same because we're working with a number of joints up and down that spine, and really from the knees all the way up. All right, so we move from here to bring on some thoracic rotation, and we also want to work through that shoulder girdle and just work to get the body rotating and moving in different planes of motion, often that are not touched when you're in a gym. But I kind of specialize in these types of things, and just wanted to bring out a few things for you. And these reasons are for, I knew I was going to be working the upper chest. So if you look at the triceps on that right arm and going into that the posterior deltoid and the lat, those are the stabilizers here. And we're just working through that rotation, getting the body moving, starting to get some blood flow. And like I say, strength in all directions counts. Yeah. Doesn't have to be huge and bulky to be extremely powerful. Yeah, I'm one that likes to engage in sports, so I'm not real big on getting, what they would call big and bulky. I've always been able to run. I've always been able to jump, leap, skip, skate. Whatever you want to do, I'm about it. And losing my mobility is not what I'm about, So yeah, here we have it. We're getting both sides, and as you notice, I just changed. I went into the kneeling position. That's so we can get the thoracic and the lumbar region a little more engaged throughout the process here. And then it's just a different way to stabilize. We do work from these positions, and if we don't train in these positions, we become weak, which sets up injury in the future, potentially. So we don't want to deal with that. All right, so as we move to this one here, just coming from the side angle, again, working to strengthen those rear delts, especially because we're going to be going with an up press later. And we want our stabilizers to be intact. But while we do that, we might as well get in a lot of those spine angles and just get the body working, Neglected moves, we strengthen out the topical muscles, but we don't go into the axial skeleton or the deep muscle, throughout the body. I like to work in chains myself, so it's kind of always been a little tough explaining workouts to people when we're in the gym. People will say, man, that don't make sense, but they just don't know the body chains. And I like to link workout to workout versus focusing on one specific area all the time. Like today's leg day, tomorrow's arms day, tomorrow's chest day. I don't really get into that. I deal with the whole body all the time. Most people who I've trained would recognize that phrase, all body, all the time. You know, but here, just getting just some unique movements, allowing the body to go in different rotations, you know. Strong in all directions, powerful in all directions. And we don't dominate the movement with our front shoulder. This is everything you cannot see in the mirror working first. And again, all these cable exercises, we did 2 sets of each. Now this one here, cross cable action. So with this, what you'll find with a lot of athletes, one shoulder usually sits higher than the other. So on my body, specifically, my right shoulder sits higher than my left. So as I'm working this exercise, I put the left over the right for this movement to create a little more balance throughout the body. And then also I was a tuba player, so I set that tuba on the left side, and you know, it's just a lot of things I did where my right is more dominant and my left was kind of auxiliary. And so as I get older, it makes a difference to work to balance these things. When we're younger, you kind of could ignore it, but you can't ignore it when you get older. Yeah, nice cross body action. All right, so here we're moving to the upper chest. Now that the shoulder girdle is all warmed up, nicely, of course, heated up. We want to elongate that occipital bone up toward the back of that pad. And the reason for that is to open up the upper chest, especially as we open up those arms, get those arms nice and wide. We can get more oxygen into the body through the back of the neck. So utilizing that nose, and then some breath retention, and then really focusing on how those arms come up and make sure they're not dominated by the anterior deltoids. And if you don't feel that middle of your chest lifting, the anterior deltoids are dominating that movement, i.e. you're working from fight to flight, and we don't want to do that. We're shaping and sculpting the body. Also, key component, the feet should be driven down through the ground. Doesn't have to be a hard, super hard press, but when they're down there, you want to kind of envision standing down in the basement so you can get a rooting and lift through the ground. So what I'm doing here is working on a little flexing. Some people like to pose in between sets. You know, for me, from time to time, if I'm really working to sculpt and shape a specific area, I put focus on those deep contractions in between the sets. You know, like I say, the older you get, it's very easy for that blood flow to start falling in certain areas of the body, and I don't want that. You know, I want to keep everything nice and balanced as I age, and symmetry is very important to me. You know, I want everything nicely balanced, nothing pulling on nothing, and I want to function well as I age. You know, so yeah, just pumping some blood in there. All right, so on this one, we move to the incline press, and you notice that's a steep incline. Like I say, I can really lift a ton of weight, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm not really focused on strength. I'm working on shaping and sculpting the body and hypertrophying out the muscle in a different kind of way. This is a lot of strength being built on these moves. So again, got that neck elongated, so it brings that upper chest to concentration, and getting that good breath retention. Got the nice deep drop elbows, not getting out way too far, but a nice drop into the girdle, and then power press on out of there so we can get a nice rounded peak at the top of the chest. And then we'll go ahead here and add that flexion going on again, you know, get them contractions going, get the body nice and filled up the way I want it. Yeah, so the thing about like these contractions here is the more time you spend on your body and you learn your body, how it moves, what you're doing when you move, what you're moving with, things just get better and better and deeper, and it brings out real nice density to the muscle. So it's something that you just got to practice. And if you don't know how to engage your body like such, you definitely want to, see somebody with a body type that you like, talk to them, and ask the questions. How they do this, how they do that. Definitely diet is important, but it's not the end all be all. So there's a million ways to skin a cat. Yeah, there's some efficient, some not so efficient. You can have what you want as long as you're willing to pay the price. Down here, I brought out the NutriGrip bar, as I want to bring on some rows. And a lot of times when we go through rows, we think pull. It's a pulling exercise. I don't like to consider it that. I like to consider it a retraction exercise. So it's important for me to retract the scapula, and when you retract that scapula, you're also working with those rear delts as opposed to those front delts and biceps. I'm thinking more of, hey, how can I get my triceps involved with that scapula and those lats? Biceps are a secondary move for me, as I'm thinking more of retraction. And if you ever seen my back when I get into a pose or whatnot, you'd understand that there is a difference. Bringing in a lot more muscle as opposed to, developing the front side of the body. I'm a firm believer that the back controls the front. So, if you develop a beautiful back, the front's automatic. Also, some key points in here is your rooting. You notice the soft bend and give throughout the legs. The legs are actually loaded here. So if you ever worked with a kettlebell, you know what that load would feel like. And then they hinge through the butt, not the back, so we can develop nicely. You can also get some good Christmas trees with this. But in the second set, I widened out that grip and really brought home some good muscle. All right, in this last exercise here, we went to the reps here, so just wanted to wrap it up. I think I got about 15 here, 2 sets. Those bent over rows were 3 sets, and the dumbbell work were 4 sets per exercise. This one here is pumping it up. Has a slight incline to this push. Again, get that occipital ridge nice and lifted. And man, you all, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. And I'm gonna look to kind of put out a little more videos like this if I have the time. And thanks for liking, share if you like, and you all have a wonderful night or day. Oh yeah, finally, here's an excellent pick. Honey nut squash. It's one of the best squashes I've ever come across in my life. Just had to throw that on the end of it. Truth Fitness 2020.